Hi there.
Hi, welcome back to Curious Collection. I'm Will.
I'm Cinnamon.
So today we want to talk about the number one thing that we do and that we look for to get items that sell quickly for high profit on eBay. And when we say sell quickly, we're talking about in 1 to 2 weeks. So, but there's a lot of other things out there that you can do as well to help maybe some of those underperforming items.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about those first, and then we're going to get into our number one way that we sell items quickly for high profit on eBay. So first and foremost, we want to talk about the presentation of the product. We want to make sure that our images are one-to-one. We want to make sure that our background is clear. And so a lot of people will choose to use white, gray, charcoal, black, whatever works best for you and whatever you prefer. Don't throw things on the floor and take pictures with the floor as the backdrop.
Right.
Don't put it on the hood of your car. I mean, you can use the hood of the car if you throw down a nice sheet or something to make it look nice, but let's try to think in most professional terms as possible.
Right. People are expecting this to be just like if they order it off of, an Amazon store, right? They want it to be professional. They are expecting a level of professionalism, just like if they would buy anything else online, right? So they want to see those clean images. They're expecting things to have a minimum standard, right?
Right. One of the things that we like to use is on items with audio or anything mechanical is take a 30-second video and show it working. Now, it doesn't need to be a hype man video. You don't need to sit there and talk it up. You don't need to overpromise what the item. We don't talk. If we have a mechanical item, we don't talk on the video. We take a video of the thing actually working. And you know what? People will watch it and they'll buy it.
Right.
If it's a two-dimensional item, a piece of paper or something, you don't need to have a video. You're not adding value. You're just taking more time. But on those mechanical, like I said, audio type items,
right.
A stereo or a television, show that it works. People really appreciate that. Or
if it's like an exquisite item, and you want to really capture, for some of the jewelry, right? So if it's like a really awesome piece, like a diamond or something like that, and you want to show that sparkle, you want to show that shine, then yes, it would be absolutely appropriate to have a little turntable and to take a little video. And again, you don't have to say anything. Let the piece speak for itself. Right. That's really what people care about is the piece. They don't need your hype.
Right. And they really don't want your narration. So the next thing is that we want items that are in good condition. Condition matters. It really does. People are expecting, again, that professional experience. So if I'm going to buy a piece of jewelry or if I'm going to buy a piece of ephemera, I want it to, be clean and prepped properly so that it does put its best presence out there.
Right. You want something like for the jewelry, you want something that's going to be ready to wear, right? Nobody wants to get a piece of jewelry and then have to clean it before they can wear it. They want that new in package feel, even if it's a piece of antique jewelry from, the late 1800s. They still want it to be wearable right now, as soon as they open it,
Right. And so we always look for things that are as close to new as possible. So, ideally we'd have, a 1978 Boba Fett in the original packaging, even with the original sticker on it for the sale at the store, that would be fine. That would be as close to new as possible. As soon as you have yellowing on that packaging, it's going to start bringing that value down. It's as soon as you take it out of that clamshell, you're going to start bringing that value down. If the kids took it out and they played in the sandbox and now it's all stained up from leaves, it's going to continue to drop that value. So we want to get as close to new as possible. It is okay to do a little bit of cleaning. We caution against restoration unless you're an expert restorer, because most people don't want you hand painting, that figurine that in a different color or a different format or something that what they're, what
they want those factory settings.
Right. and it really matters. Condition counts. It is one of the most important things. It's not the most important thing,
Yeah.
but it is one of the
really
most
is.
important things.
If I have a piece of jewelry and it's missing a stone, it's dead to me. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do with that. Nobody wants a chore when they're buying something. Nobody wants to have to, okay, yeah, I got this thing, but now there's work.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we see a lot of it out there in the marketplace. We go to flea markets, we go to estate sales, we go to auction houses, and they're trying to sell these pieces. If you're a restorer,
that's
it's
awesome
a great
for you.
opportunity to find some things, put them back together, and sell it. But for most of us as resellers,
I have enough work already.
Right, that's not our goal. That's not what we're trying to do. So really focus on that condition.
Yeah.
Next is, we got the pictures. We got the item. It's in good condition. We got to put together a title and a description that is correct. So properly spelled words. I know that, this is something that used to be really big on eBay, and that people would look for auctions or listings that had the wrong spelling. There was commonly misspelled words, and they would go and they'd buy those auctions and they'd get a really good deal. I actually just had this happen to me the other day. I was on the platform. I'm looking through auctions that are coming up, and somebody had something starting at 99 cents plus shipping, and they had misspelled the name of the boat. Well, if I'm a collector for that specific boat or that specific line, and you've misspelled it and you didn't realize, you're not going to get any bidders.
No.
Nobody's looking for a misspelled product.
Nope.
The other thing is using the wrong terminology or misattributing something.
Yeah.
The correct buyer won't find it. So that actually happened to me again. Last week, I was looking through some other auction lots, and I found some dinner menus from a cruise ship. You guys know that I do sell a lot of cruise stuff, and they had called the collection dinner menus, and they had said that it was from Bahama Cruise Line. Well, that's not a thing. It's a Bahama cruise, so the advertising on it said, dinner on your Bahama cruise. They didn't put the name of the boat. They didn't put the name of the shipping line. And again, I got the collection, seriously undervalued. Basically pennies on the dollar, because they put the wrong information in their title. Right.
If you misidentify, then that's not, like, nobody wins at that point, right? You're not winning because you're not getting the full value, and your buyer's not winning either, because I've bought a piece of jewelry and they said it was, Native American turquoise, and I got the piece of jewelry and it was literally a Lucky Brand fake turquoise. Like, it was so not what they attributed it to. Yes, I could have gotten all mad and stuff and asked for my money back. They probably didn't have returns anyway. It doesn't matter. The point is that you want to attribute what you're selling to what it actually is.
Yeah. And mistakes happen. So
absolutely
utilize your spell check. Make sure you triple check your spelling.
The other day, we sold a brooch, and it was a purple abstract, blah, blah, blah. And I forgot the E at the end of purple. So it happens. It does, there's times when I look back at an old listing and I'm like, ooh, Baby Lister Cinnamon was not so great at that.
Yeah. And so again, we all make mistakes, and that's why it's so important that we do our due diligence and make sure that we're using all of the tools available to us. Make sure that, again, we've got a spell check on. And, it seems simple, but, I struggled with it myself for years, is just getting that stupid app installation on my browser so that you can have I could have spell check.
I know.
It was so silly.
He was complaining so bad because you just don't. You can't know how to spell everything.
Right. So pricing's another area that is really integral in making a sale on the platform, or not just eBay, any platform at all. Another example, I'm doing a comp the other day, and it's a dinner menu for a famous ship, world's fastest ship, the SS United States. And it was actually the United States line. So they're head of their fleet. They're prized possession, right? This is the world's fastest ship, even to this day. And a person had it listed for $89. And I'm, well, that's pretty amazing because I just sold one a couple weeks ago for $25. So either I mispriced mine or they mispriced theirs. And I start going through and I found another person who had theirs priced at $8. So I'm thinking the guy at 89 isn't going to sell his.
Yeah.
I priced mine at 25 and I sold it within 24 hours. So maybe it's slightly underpriced, but I sold it immediately. So again,
and it's important to know both the active comps that are out there right now today, as well as the solds, because if you look and you're like, oh my goodness, this one sold for like $90 and that was 3 months ago. Okay, well, you've got holidays, you've got Christmas, you've got, you know, the checks coming in for taxes. Like it's a much different world than it was 3 months ago, right? And if all of a sudden things got flooded on the market and there's tons of them at $8, it doesn't matter that it sold at 93 months ago if they can find a million of them now at a much, you know, reduced price.
We absolutely have to be aware. We have to know, what is it selling for today? What did it sell for 6 months ago? And, you know, what's the trajectory on that? So if we notice that, you know, there's 400 of an item and you're only selling 40 a month, you know, that right there is going to tell me that price is going to continue to drop because the supply is far exceeding the demand.
Yeah. But also, if you notice a trend that like, hey, you know what, these things are flying off the shelf, then it might be appropriate for you to raise your price a little bit. You know, it again, just like everything else in running a business, you have to be aware of your numbers. You have to be aware of all the things that are going on.
Right. So that leads us up to our number one thing that we look for in finding an item that we can sell for a high margin and sells quickly on eBay or any other platform. And that is that it needs to be an exceptional piece. So what do we mean by exceptional? We mean that it is going to be rare or relatively uncommon. So if I go to eBay and I look up the product, I'm only going to find one or two. If I find more than 3 or 4, it is not rare and uncommon.
No.
So that is one of the things that we look for. The other thing we look for is the level of demand. How many of these have sold in the past? So a lot of people would use that listing and they would use the sold rate and they would calculate out and what's the sell-through rate on this product. I'm not going to go into all of that. If you see that it is sold in the past and that it is, you know, desirable and it is fetching a good value, that's what is really going to get us that exceptional product. And then paired with all of the things that we talked about. You got to have good condition. Just because it's rare, you know, I see people all the time buying Tonka trucks, right? Everybody thinks about when they were a little boy or a little kid and they're playing with their Tonka.
Those big ones that you could like ride in the back and sit in the dump truck and...
I see them all the time and people are picking them up left and right and a lot of collectors buy them and you know they do you know how much this is worth? And it's I can tell you what it's worth
when it's rusted out and you can't play with it anymore because you're gonna need a tetanus shot. Right.
So you know that rusted out old Tonka truck might only be worth $30 or $40 if it was the restored brand, you know, maybe not restored, maybe if it was original in packaging,
kept in the house,
like put on a shelf or you know stuck in the attic and nobody was ever allowed to play with it. Look, don't touch. You know, those can go into the hundreds. We were at an auction and we're sitting there and I am overwhelmed the rates of the prices that things were going for. The guy was a serious radio and toy collector and they had a collection of albums that sold for over $10,000. This was very early on in our resale business. And he had a 1932 Blondie car, die-cast, lithographed car in the original box, had never been taken out of the box. And we're sitting there. Do you remember what I said?
I remember the auction. Yeah, that was just absurdity.
It sold for close to $3,000. And I'm sitting
get a
there.
Real car for that price.
Literally, the car that we drove to the auction cost less than the toy car that sold.
Yeah.
And again, extremely rare to find the quality, the condition, the packaging all together in one.
Yeah.
And those serious collectors will pay for that. They really will. You gotta find that right combination, that secret sauce. It's gonna sell the product quickly if you can set it out there at the right price.
Right.
And if that collector's looking for it, they're gonna snag it up.
And we understand those exceptional pieces do not fall in your lap every day. So there are other things that you do to kind of pad your stock so that when those exceptional pieces come around, you're poised and ready to pounce on the opportunity, right? Those watch tip buy that I was able to do, that was a $500 buy, and that was really, really hard, but they were exceptional pieces. And they flipped, like, we made our money back within the first week. If we didn't have that extra $500 in the budget to be able to buy that inventory when it became available, we would have missed the whole opportunity. And sometimes those opportunities, you don't even realize they're there. There's times when I've bought trays of costume jewelry and there's found gold, so you have those exceptional pieces, but that means that you've got to list a bunch of unexceptional pieces.
So that kind of brings me up to the final point that I want to make, and that, selling those items extremely quickly for those really good margins, that is a picker, right? So the person who has the skill set to go out and pick the finest pieces of a collection, that's not me. I know I don't have that skill set.
Because I don't know what half these pieces are when I get them sometimes. Yeah. It's not until I'm doing the research that I'm like, holy crow, do you know what this is?
Right. And nobody else does either. So, right. That's why you're able to find it. We buy collections specifically because we like selling in niches.
Yep.
And when we do happen across those exceptional pieces, it is rare.
It is.
Because they're rare pieces.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do have to pay up a little bit more than what we would typically pay. But, the reality is 90% of our store is common items.
It is.
And 90% of our sales are common items.
Yep. And that's how we're able to, it's really a mix of both, and that's I think what really makes it work is that when you're looking at our categories of sales, right? And you're looking at, the number 3 category might be my necklaces. And I may have sold 30 necklaces at $20. Like, that's not exceptional. But the volume makes it exceptional, as a category for our top sales. But we might have that, a clock or something that is just completely not our normal, but it sold for $200 because it was one exceptional piece.
Right. So we're going to show it on our video that's coming up on the first of the month. But we did. Last week we had bought a clock. We paid $35 for a yellow flip clock. There was a yellow. We got 2 clocks in the lot, but one was a flip clock. The other one was a travel wind-up clock. Mid-century, 1974, yellow.
Super cool.
Amazing condition, functioning. And as soon as we saw it, we both knew this is something special. We did a quick Google search. We did a quick eBay search. The reality is only one of these is sold in the last 3 years. So we've got a sales history. We know
it's rare.
We know it's rare. There's a red one. There was the yellow one. We priced it right in line after communicating with a collector, and they had put out an offer at $180, and we took it. And it literally sold in less than a week. and the person has sent us multiple emails since they've received it about how excited they are. And thank you for, working with me and all of this stuff. And, could we have held out for another $100? Maybe. Or we can be extremely happy that we were able to make a sale, pocket over $100 in profit on that sale.
Yeah.
And now we have $100 that we can now take back and reinvest, or we can use to support our lifestyle. So, we will definitely show that to you guys. It was an amazing piece.
Yeah.
And we did everything that we talked about here. We took great pictures.
Yep.
We got video. We made sure that it was clean. We, did as much research on it as we could to define it properly.
We communicated with the buyer. We didn't talk about the customer service end, but obviously that's a huge part of what we do as well. You need to be available to your buyers if they do have questions, if they do have concerns. When you're talking about spending $200 on a flip clock, like,
that's kind of crazy.
It is. That's a lot. And if I don't trust you as a seller, I don't know how comfortable.
I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah. So again, like having that customer service, seeing the clock in the video with the alarm going, with the flipping of the numbers, seeing more pictures, being comfortable that this is a trusted source, that you're going to be able to get the piece that you really think you're getting. That's a huge part of it too.
It is. So I appreciate everyone stopping in. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for all the new subscribers. We've picked up another 50 subscribers just in the last month.
Yeah.
We're only doing one video a week at this point, which is absolutely amazing. So thank you to everyone who's joined us, who subscribes to the channel. I really appreciate everyone out there. And again, if you like what we're doing, if we're offering any value at all, please like and subscribe. And
tell us in the comments down below, what are the things that you feel just set the item apart, that you're like, when I feel this, or when I have this, like, I know this is going to be a slam dunk. What makes an exceptional item in your store? Because we've talked, we do jewelry, we do ephemera, things like that. Share with the class. Maybe somebody else would really benefit from your advice down in the comments below. All right. Thanks so much. Good luck to you out there.
Thank you.